the hypocrisy of Donald Trump knows no bounds. And now we're going to see MAGA most likely make yet another dramatic shift, right? MAGA are the same people, for example, that said that they don't want the government involved in our medical decisions. But they do want the government involved in women's medical decisions when it comes to whether or not they're getting an abortion. When it comes to a baker denying a gay couple a cake for their wedding, MAGA is the one that says they're a private business, you can't tell them what to do. But then they want the federal government to tell private businesses what to do. When those private businesses make getting a vaccination a term of employment, the list goes on and on and on, right? You know, electric vehicles are the devil, but Elon Musk is the savior. And now we're seeing it again. What was one of the biggest things that Donald Trump ran on the first time around and still bitches about? Obamacare. Repeal and replace. Repeal and replace. He is still pissed at John McCain to this day because when they thought they had Obamacare nipped in the bud, John McCain walked in and voted no in the middle of the night. And God damn it, Donald Trump was so fucking pissed off that to this day he attacks John McCain for it. But now Donald Trump and his administration are defending Obamacare in front of the Supreme Court. Trump is defending Obamacare at the Supreme Court. A win could boost RFK Jr.'s influence. President Donald Trump's Justice Department is defending the Affordable Care Act before the Supreme Court, a notable contrast to his first term, when his administration sought to repeal the law in Congress and then refused to defend it in a major challenge brought by GOP-led states. But a win for the federal government in the current case, concerning the law's mandates that certain preventative care services are covered cost-free, could boost the power that Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has in shaping those requirements. It comes as Kennedy shakes up the health agency with mass layoffs and plans to consolidate huge swaths of its authority in a new $20 billion administration for a healthy America. Kennedy has questioned a litany of public health recommendations, and a victory in this case could put him in more direct control of at least one expert panel focused on those policies. On Monday, the justices will be considering the legality of certain no-cost sharing coverage mandates that were created by a government entity known as the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, which issues recommendations that are supposed to be shielded from political influence. At stake is the ability of millions of Americans to access cost-free preventative services that include cancer screenings, statins that help prevent cardiovascular disease, PrEP drugs that help prevent HIV infections, and counseling referrals for pregnant and postpartum women at increased risk of depression. Cost sharing was an enormous barrier, quote unquote, to people getting such care, according to Georges Benjamin, executive director of the American Public Health Association. Simple stuff like more people getting their blood pressure checked, more people getting their flu shots, more people getting their cholesterol screenings, more people getting some cancer screenings like colonoscopy, breast screenings, those kind of things, Benjamin told reporters at a press briefing organized by the advocacy group Protect Our Care. The case is part of the latest wave of conservative legal attacks on the Affordable Care Act, but one that doesn't threaten to take down the landmark health reform law, which has expanded health insurance coverage to tens of millions of Americans. The challengers argue that mandates are unconstitutional because, under Obamacare, they came from a task force whose membership hasn't been Senate confirmed. A ruling in the government's favor would leave those mandates intact for now, but the fight over how those mandates are crafted will continue, both in court and in the control that Kennedy attempts to exert over Obamacare's requirements. The Supreme Court ruling in favor of preserving these services is not going to end the issue, said Andrew Pincus, a partner with the law firm Mayer Brown, who filed an amicus brief supporting the mandates on behalf of the American Public Health Association. Pincus, speaking at the Protect Our Care briefing, predicted that the Supreme Court was likely to say that the Secretary of Health and Human Services has some authority to oversee how the task force operates and the decision that it makes. So the question will then be, will HHS follow the science and uphold the USPSTF recommendations, or will it take a different course he said. That's correct. After years and years and years of saying that he was going to get rid of Obamacare and replace it with his own health care plan, which was going to be bigger, better, get more people covered, and cost everybody in this country less than they're currently paying. After years of that bullshit, and then during the campaign this last time around in 2024, finally admitting that he doesn't have a health care plan, that he has a concept of a health care plan, now that he's president, Donald Trump is in court, his administration is in court, defending the Obamacare mandates. How long before we see a video defending Obamacare from somebody like the older millennial?